It's just that in most cases, even if he doesn't need to consume mental power, the magic that consumes a lot of energy, he can still rely on the power of his own pulse to suppress the enemy, so he can't use it normally. So use it when you need it. Let's not talk about attack, you can't even stop the chant. Ottar can use magic, which means that the opponent cannot be defeated by his strange power and absolute defense alone. Therefore, it is already considered a complete honor just to make the strongest use magic. So Bel can be proud. Because he made Ottar use magic twice. Then Bel might feel hopeless. Because it is an unquestionable declaration of the absolute death penalty. Only Mia could step forward. Even though she knew that the almost complete chant was the bait dangling before her eyes, if she didn't stop the spell, the bomb called magic would explode. She knew very well that she was being tricked by the enemy into running towards strategy, launching an attack that seemed to kill them all. Very weak. Faced with Mia's all-out blow to destroy the defense, Ottar pointed out a fact. Defense also means attack. The swinging black broadsword collided with the giant shovel, instead of biting each other, they forcibly separated. Ottar pressed down on the shovel and carved a gash into Mia's body. Blood gushed from her, and Ottar threw another merciless kick forward. Mia barely blocked him. At this time, he pointed at the wavering Mia again, and placed the hand holding the sword hilt on her right shoulder with the great sword. Steel-shaped deltoids and trapezoids. In the next moment, as if a cannon was fired, he thrust his sword forward. Seeing the blow that would pierce Mia, Bel jumped at a speed that was enough to reverse time. He casts the hero's desire skill. It only takes half a second to load. The particles of light gathered at the right foot, kicked the ground fiercely, and inserted themselves between Mia and Ottar. Facing the black greatsword that pierced forward with a roar, he mounted the blade of Hestia. Hold the handle of the knife with your left hand and the face of the knife with your right hand. The dagger face held by both hands precisely blocked the xiphoid process. The goddess's blade will not break. But he regretted it. Ottar pushed the dagger into the abdomen together, causing Bel to spit out an exaggerated amount of blood. The boy became a shock absorber, but Mia was still beaten by the violent impact and flew backwards after catching the boy's body. Carrying the spirit of the goddess, go forward bravely. Of course, the next step is a relentless search. The last psalm was sung. Ottar uses his natal magic to crush the enemy. Shildi's Vini was born brilliantly. The large black sword was encased in the same golden skin that Bel remembered. Targeting Mia and the others who crashed into the north wall of the theater, Ottar delivered his golden blow. If it falls, it's over. Shildi's Vini is pure enhancement magic. This isn't even conferred by magic, and there's no way to attack distant enemies. However, what would it be like to combine the simple enhancement of power with the bizarre arm strength? The answer was, the blows he delivered could kill from a distance. The space is cut simply. The sight of Bel and Mia, covered in blood, was tinged with a twilight glow. She came here, picked up Bel and Mia, and did her best to leave. A split second after the overlapping shadows fled from range, there was a loud cutting sound. Strong impact and sound wave came. These hit Ryu and the others, making them hit the ground several times, rolling on the ground. Immobilized by the shock that shook the entire amphitheater, he screamed inaudibly. The sound disappeared immediately. There were no consequences. A simple destruction strike will not cause secondary damage like high-level magic, but it will blow up everything there. What? Bel raised his head, and Mia and Ryu, who supported their bodies, were speechless. In the north corner, the walls, columns and auditoriums high as hills have disappeared. The slash destroyed the theater itself and even penetrated the outer ruins of the city and the edge of the ruins, reaching beyond the island. The beautiful emerald green surface of the lake, the view of the huge depression lake appears. It's not as pretty as Leon's. The murmur that left the warrior's mouth disappeared into the rippling voice. The surface of the lake that was cut along the trajectory of the blow emitted a sound and gradually returned to its original shape. Bell and the others were too scared to move. Lying in the auditorium on the south side, Van, who was not injured, also turned pale. The city's residents who saw everything through the mirror also froze in place. Come again. And the golden fur has not disappeared. Second blow. The black greatsword still intertwined with golden light was mercilessly brought down. As if repeating the previous scene, the big attack was launched. He finished. Seeing the end approaching, Bell, Ryu and even Mia thought so. Eternal conquest, indestructible thunder general. It was Hadine's spell that cut off the end. Varian Hilda released a huge thunder light. Not countless barrages, but great bombardment, concentrated in one place. The lightning that could even devour the floor master approached from the east and hit Ottar from the side. Before the eyes of Bell and the others, it exploded, and immediately afterwards, the direction of the gold changed from northeast to northwest. Buildings on the northwest side were also eliminated. At the same time, Bell and others, who escaped death, suddenly turned their heads. It's just changing direction. How much spiritual power will it take away from me? You're an irrational incarnation. A white elf calmly walked down from the auditorium on the east side of the bombing site. With a long-handled knife in one hand, and uncomfortable adjusting the position of his glasses, which are crooked, Hadine Selland. Master? Why? No, you don't mean, you really? Hadine just responds. Idiot. Since he was subjected to Ottar's baptism, Bell was unaware of Hadine's betrayal. His face was stained with surprise. Although Hadine looked as if he was looking at something dirty, Bell's face twitched. But with the belated joy, an awkward smile emerged. Now it is not him who abused Freya's familia, but the master who made many modifications to himself in front of the small garden. Bell understood this clearly. If it weren't for this situation, the young man might still shed a line of tears, and seeing this young man smile, Hadine still sneered displeasedly. It's obvious that you are here, how can you be so miserable, Mia? You're really annoying. I have a blank period. In the auditorium, 2 bottles were thrown away. Here are the final props. Mia first used it to plug the wounds on her body, and then poured the remaining half of the advanced recovery potion and the high-level mental power recovery potion onto Bell and Ryu's heads. Surprised at the same time, Bell and the others, who had recovered somewhat, staggered as they realized that the refutations were useless. Hadine. I don't need to explain it to you, Ottar. They even fell to the enemy, but Ottar did not see the slightest hesitation. He placed the black sword that had lost its magical effect on his shoulder and looked at the elf. Answer me one question. What question? How much do you know? Hadine, who was facing Ottar with his back to Bell and the others who stood up, asked calmly. To train this stupid rabbit, I did a few things. I instigated Hogni and others to beat him to death. To make him as useful as possible. Bell forgot the emotion now, and turned into a stone statue. At this time, Hadine asked again. However, only you refused my instructions. Cracks began to appear in the little garden, and he deliberately intensified the events after the baptism. Hadine refuted others and proposed that Bell be cornered immediately and wanted all cadres to join in the baptism. Ottar, you too. Beat that stupid rabbit with your sharp sword. There is no need for me to enter. Hadine, I leave it to you. But only Ottar said this and firmly rejected it. At that time, did you already guess that I would cheat? It will become like this? Hadine has been secretly active, neither of them have encountered this. But only the warrior in front of him seemed to be aware of this and moved away. Hearing Hadine's question, Ottar responded without moving his expression. I'm not as smart as you. I have no way of knowing what's going to happen. At this moment, the rust-colored eyes were fixed on Hadine and Bell who were standing diagonally behind. However, at that moment, I saw the photo of the 2 of you standing in front of me. Just like the scene in front of him, he concluded. Hayden tilted his face. Stop relying on feeling to trump strategy, you battle idiot. Sensing the boar man's instinct, which could be called warrior intuition, he clicked his tongue in displeasure. Hayden looked at the existence that was completely opposite to him, which relied on theory, and finally raised his fighting spirit. You finished? Ah. Let's quickly eliminate him now. Otherwise, the stupid and troublesome cat will come after you. As if it was time to end the question and answer, Hayden gathered his mental strength and entered a battle state. At this time, Bell quickly called him to stop. Master. Do you want to fight with us? Is there any other option in this situation, trash? Stop talking. The elf replied.